For the Projectile Lab Part 2, you are going to start off finding your height and time, just like you did with Part 1. Only now we're starting by measuring the velocity of the marble using the lab quest. And during this time, you cannot let your marble hit the floor, because where the marble hits is what you're trying to calculate. So the very first thing that we're going to do, after having gotten our height and calculated our time, which you should have done in the first video, is we're going to fill in this chart right here. We're going to find our measured velocity using our lab quest and then find the average. So let me set up the camera to watch the lab quest. So here you can see our lab quest, and I'm going to go ahead and hit play. So these little circles right here mean that it is waiting for something to happen. So I'm going to roll my marble. And here's our velocity for run number 1. Make sure you write that down. Copy all 4 of those digits. All of them are significant. Here it's waiting. We're going to do run number 2. And here's our velocity for run number 2. Write that down. Copy all 4 digits. And run number 3. And run number 4. If you're finding that you have a large difference in your measured velocities, you can certainly do more than 4 runs to find your average velocity. Since you're going to use your average in order to calculate your dx, more information is always better. I want you to do at least 4, but you should have done a minimum of 4, but you can certainly do more than that. We're going to stick with 4 because all of ours are right around the same, so I feel like that's a pretty good average. So the next step would be to then calculate for dx. Okay, you should already have your time done. You'll have your velocities and then find your average of those 4. Plug those into the calculation, or to the equation, excuse me, for dx, and that'll tell you approximately where you think the marble is going to hit when it hits the floor. Now, I'm not going to actually do that part because I want you to do all the calculations, and if I do the calculations, then I'm just giving you the answer. Show me when you feel like you have your dx calculated correctly, and I will tell you if it looks good or if you need to double check. Once you have an okayed dx, then you're going to go on to the data analysis portion. For the data analysis, you're finding a resultant for each of these vectors. Vx is going to be your average that you measured up here. Vy, you'll calculate. If you look back at your equation, Vy is A times T. So this number and this number, they make a right angle. So you're going to do the Pythagorean theorem to find out what is the length of this vector right here. That tells you when the marble actually hits the ground, how fast is it going. For the second one, I want to know what's the actual distance that the marble traveled, because we know it didn't go straight down and then straight out. So your dy is the height of your ramp. dx is going to be the calculated dx from up here. This is your a plus b. Do your Pythagorean theorem to find the resultant displacement on this here.